Hello everyone, I'm back. Yeah, so another story. So I lived in this nice little neighborhood in Abuja, somewhere in the Jabi area for a while when I lived in Abuja. And I remember one day I was bored on the Saturday and I decided to drive out and just drive around for a bit, clear my head, just drive around. It was a nice, lovely, beautiful sunny day and then driving around town. And in some offshoot of my neighborhood, I'm driving around, exploring streets I'd never been down, just taking a look at stuff. And then I come across this building. It looked amazing. It was a lovely looking building. And it had a sign outside, it was a hospital or a clinic. And I thought, oh, great. I actually don't have a hospital that I go to regularly in this town. So let me check it out, maybe register here. It looks nice. And I'm sure that, the service will be great because, if they take care of the building, then hey, they'll probably take care of me too. Because, I'm built like a house. Not really, but you know what I mean. So I pull up, park, get down, walk in. And I walk into the reception and there was no one there and I'm waiting and waiting and waiting. Eventually some lady comes out and she goes, "Oh, excuse me, sir, can I help you?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'm here to register." And she's like, oh, okay, great. Let me get somebody to attend to you. And she disappears, has me sit down somewhere for a few minutes. I could hear some people talking in some of the other rooms. I just noticed there's no one in the waiting room, but hey, that didn't matter, right? So it's just a slow hospital day. And then the lady to register me comes out. And she grabs the form and hands it over to me. And she goes, "Here, sir, would you mind filling this out? The registration fee is da-da-da, and consultation fee is da-da-da, blah, blah, blah." The usual spiel at the hospital. And so I sit down and I start to fill the form. And at some point, I notice the questions are oddly specific, right? But it's not clicking at the time. And then she looks at me. I could tell she was watching me. And probably realizing that I had no clue what I was doing there, she asks me point blank, "Sir, do you know what type of clinic this is?" Ding, 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 5 alarm bells. Something's wrong here, because if it's a clinic, then they don't ask you if you know what type of clinic it is. But if it's a clinic that specializes in something, then, haha, see? Smart, eventually. So there I am. Yeah, of course I know, filling out the form. And she's looking at me, squeeze my face and she's like, "Sir, this is a fertility clinic, right?" I'm like, "Huh?" She's like, "This is a fertility clinic." And of course, being, macho, proud man that I am, of course I know it's a fertility clinic. That's why I came in here. To, fertilize stuff. Yeah. So I finished filling out the form and she tries to give me an out. She really does. She's like, "We can't finish your registration today because we're in the middle of some seminars, but if you'll come back on Monday, we can finish it then. I'll just take the paperwork from you and we'll call you to schedule an appointment when you can come in to finish up." I'm like, great, escape. And so I handed her my form and I got the hell out of there. And this is the thing. I spent 3 months after that avoiding calls and follow-up calls from the hospital. They kept calling to find out when I was coming in for my appointment and all of that. And I put myself through all of that because I couldn't admit that I had no idea what I was doing. I couldn't admit that I had made a mistake, that a grown man with multiple certificates and college degrees, who teaches and trains people for a living, who coaches people, who leads and mentors, who's been working for over 20-something years in senior management, leading other people for 20-something years, had no idea how to read a sign because it was right there on the sign in smaller print, fertility clinic. And then my pride kicked in and I couldn't admit it. And I kept thinking to myself how many times we put ourselves through situations where as human beings, but especially men, you know yourselves, pride stops us from admitting when we've made mistakes. It stops us from admitting when we've done something wrong. It stops us from admitting when we have no idea what we're doing, what direction to go, what to do. We don't ask for help. In fact, we're trained to not ask for help. We are trained from when you grow up not to show emotion, not to show vulnerability, not to show that you made mistakes or errors. You power through it, you muscle through it, you get it done. Because you're a man. It's BS at best. Probably a lot worse. But for the sake of this video, I'm not going to use those words. You see, we make mistakes all the time. We're human. To err is human. Admitting that we made our mistakes is what it takes to be big, is what it takes to be a man. Asking for help, that's what it takes to be a man. Acknowledging when you're wrong, that's what it takes to be a man. And a woman, to be honest, women do it just as much as men do as well, but talking about humanity generally. Admitting that you're wrong, admitting that you make mistakes, doesn't make you weak. As a matter of fact, makes you stronger. If you think about it, for me, I did end up going back to the clinic because I was shamed into it. They kept calling and they were so good at it, and they kept, following up. They were so professional. I just felt, you know what, I might as well just go in, own up, fess up, admit that I had made a mistake, but find out what tests they do and see if there's any I needed. And I did. And I did find out some stuff about myself that was great. That was amazing for me. Gave me a lot of insights into a lot of things. Owning up to my mistakes allowed me to face up to the mistakes that I had made and correct them, and something good comes out of it at the end. It doesn't feel good in the moment because we've been taught not to admit that we're wrong. But when you do, and if you ask for help, and if you're willing to change, and if you're willing to correct and to do better, then great things can really come out of it. So, that's my lesson. That's the message I wanted to pass along today. That and read signs. Yeah, read signs. All right? Have a great day, everyone. And as always, be inspired.